create images in the minds of others with words. Now, I want to show you another kind of image creating that's a vital part of thinking big. Learn this skill well. Make it one of your primary success tools. The skill is simply this: learn to see what can be, not just what is. Big thinkers, all big thinkers, train themselves to see the potential in people and things and ideas, not just what exists right now. I have a friend who is a highly successful realtor. He specializes in rural property, and I'd like to take you on a brief outing with him to hear what he has to say about seeing the potential in things.
This is about 450 acres, kind of hilly as you can see. Scruffy undergrowth, little skimpy secondary growth trees. Not exactly farm beautiful, is it? You know, most of the rural property around here is pretty run down like this. But I think I'm successful because I developed my entire sales plan around what this place can be. Now let me show you what I've done with this farm. I've spent 2 days just studying it and trying to imagine what it could be. Here we have 85 acres of bottomland, we got 115 acres of woods, about 200 acres of pasture, and we're 45 minutes from town, about stone's throw from the freeway, and 35 miles from the airport. Well, I've asked myself, what's this farm good for? Well, here's one possibility. Here, this is a plan for a horse riding stable. I've got it all typed up here, you see. As you can see, we've got all the right ingredients. A rapidly growing city nearby. You can hear the construction from here. Lots of new families moving in. I mean, it's built and designed for families around here. Here's a report that states that the outdoor activities are the fastest growing recreational form that there is right now. You've got good pasture and some nice hills, and they're not too steep, right? You can support lots of horses right here. Grow your own barley, your own wheat and grain. That way, all of the revenue produced in this property stays right here for the profit of the buyer. With a minimal amount of landscaping, you can put in some trails, run them over the hills, down to the river. I mean, can't you see people riding their horses over the top of that hill, back up through the gorge? You see, this way, when I talk to prospects, I don't have to convince them that this place is a good buy just as it is. I can help them actually see it turned into a money-making venture. That has added bonuses too. I can sell more farms and sell them faster this way. And on top of that, I can sell them usually for more money than my competitors, because they're not just buying a farm. They're buying a farm and an idea.
Once again, the moral to this true story is this: look at things not as they are, but as they can be. Visualization, you see, adds value to everything. A big thinker always visualizes what can be done in the future and doesn't limit himself to the present. And always remember, this principle doesn't just apply to things. It applies to people as well. If you can see the potential in a customer who comes into your store and spends, say, $5, then you create the possibility that the customer will come back again and next time spend $500. If you drive through Skid Row and see just a bunch of broken down stumblebums and winos, then you're not thinking big. There are a few devoted individuals who can see in those Skid Row residents a lot of human potential. And because they can see this potential, those few people are able to help a lot of those unfortunate people get back on their feet. The best teachers are the ones who see Jimmy not as a little troublemaker who talks too much, but as an energetic, bright kid who needs a special challenge to get motivated. This teacher isn't seeing Jimmy as he is, but as Jimmy can be. Now, turn this idea inward and look at yourself. What about your own potential, your own worth? If you were to go in for salary negotiations with your boss tomorrow, how would you present yourself? Would you see yourself exactly as you are today? Or would you see the potential you have to offer, the executive you can be in 2 years, or the sales you can bring in over the next 5 years? Are you looking at yourself only in the present, or do you see yourself as the person you can be at some point in the future? The way to develop the power to see what can be, not just what is to practice adding value to things, people, and ideas. Now here are some exercises that will help you do this.
First, practice adding value to things. Remember the real estate salesman and ask yourself, what can I do to add value to this room? or this house, or this business. Look for ideas to make things worth more. Anything, whether it's a vacant lot or a new house or a business, has value in proportion to the ideas for using it. And practice adding value to people. As you move higher and higher in the world of success, more and more of your job will become people development. So ask, what can I do to add value to my subordinates? How can I help them be more effective? Remember, to bring out the best in a person, you must first visualize their best. And finally, practice adding value to yourself. Conduct a daily interview with yourself and ask, what can I do to make myself more valuable today? Visualize yourself not as you are, but as you can be. Then, specific ways for attaining your potential value will begin to suggest themselves.
There is no such thing as a perfectly smooth, trouble-free road to success. You can be sure there are plenty of bumps on everyone's path to fulfillment. Nothing worthwhile comes easily, but there is something that you can do that will help to at least smooth out some of these minor bumps, and I can sum it up for you in one short sentence. Don't concern yourself with trivia. Now that sounds simple, but the fact is that it's often much easier to get caught up in trivia than to avoid it, simply because of our habits. For example, ask yourself this question: why do people quarrel? At least 90% of our quarrels are over trivial concerns. Somebody's late, or somebody forgot to buy something at the store, or somebody bought the wrong brand. Now, to become a big thinker, you need to eliminate as many of these bumps and potholes from your personal road to success as you can. So the next time a trivial matter comes up, ask yourself, is this really important? Does it really matter which route I take to the airport? Does it really matter if someone forgets to put the cap on the toothpaste? Is it really important that your spouse invited someone to the party you don't like or squandered a little bit too much money? When you fix your mental gaze on the big picture and remember the goal that you're working toward, success, fulfillment, and happiness, you'll find that many of these potential quarrels simply aren't important enough to warrant an argument. Just asking that question, is it really important, works wonders at the office too. It works in the traffic going home when another driver tries to cut you off. It works when you might get the smallest office in the renovation plan. It works when you overlook the small, annoying habits of your fellow workers. And it works when you're solving problems, or counseling employees, or making decisions about your career. Just don't get caught up in trivia.
So they took the crown off this woman's head and put it on the other woman. This is horrible for this young girl. So I'm in the back. I go to the press conference. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's over with. I go to sleep about 2 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting up to leave Las Vegas to go home. I go outside. Reporters are everywhere. I get on the plane. Reporters are everywhere. I land in Atlanta. Reporters are everywhere. How could you? You're the stupidest person. This is the biggest mistake ever. I could do nothing. I could not leave my house for days. People were driving by my house tying notes on rocks and throwing it over the gate with names on it. It was horrible. Within 48 hours, my name, Steve Harvey, had been Googled 4 billion times. 4 billion times in 48 hours. I was the most famous person on planet Earth in 48 hours. God had increased my global brand and persona. I did not appreciate the way he did it, but I was the most famous person in the world for 48 hours. That was a big fall. That was a fault. They wrote about me in the papers. His career is over. He's ruined. He will never recover from this. He is not going to be on TV anymore. How could you? They wrote that all about me. But they did not know that the God I serve is in control of my life. Not them. Not the media. None of them. It is God. And so he had a different plan for me, because I had gotten up so many times before, because I had fallen. I was homeless for years and lived in a car. He got me up. I lost my mother. He picked me up. I lost my father 3 years later. He picked me up. My big brother died. He pick me up. He kept picking me up. I am so used to getting up, to getting back up. Every time I get knocked down, I keep getting back up over and over and over again. So let me show you something about you. Let me teach you something now. All of you in here have had some bad days. All of you in here have had some days where you felt like you wasn't gonna make it. All of you in here have had some crushing things happen to you and you did not see no way you was gonna make it. All of you in here have felt so badly sometimes you did not know what to do. But let me tell you something about you. Your track record for surviving bad days is 100%.